Well, everyone, I want to welcome the one and only Jesse Paul Smith to the podcast. I have been wanting to get you on this podcast for a long time, and we finally got to kind of work together last month at Summerfest Live, and which was it was great. It was great to hear a lot of the stuff that you had to say, and one of the things that really struck me, and I think might strike other people odd as well. And I noticed it, but you are just like me. You are an introvert. Everyone would assume that you're an extrovert because you're always on stage, you're dancing. But when you got off stage, you just like me, you'd go over to the kind of the side, to the corner, and just start going into deep thought. And I'm like, son of a bitch, he's an introvert just like me.
So true, man.
Oh, man, that surprised me. I did not see that because everyone would assume by watching you on stage and watching you dance and do what you do that you are an extrovert, but you're absolutely not. So that surprised me. And and it was great getting to know you there. I wanted to kind of start talking about where you came from and kind of how you got where you are. You know, to me, success always leaves clues. And talking with people that have done really great things, there's always clues that they have. There's always things that they can give to the world on how they got where they are. You know, I'm assuming everything was just all easy for you and it was all roses and, you know, just no
course.
problems at all.
We just my road to success was a straight line. There was no bumps or, complete detours. No, none of that.
So how go back to, in the mid 2000s, 2005 when you started to getting into stuff back in LA. How did that happen?
Yeah, so it's again, the funny thing is that I think we always watch everybody else's trajectory or their success, and we believe that everybody else's success is so much easier than ours. They obviously had it way easier than I did. And also, I think that we underestimate the amount of things either we've done or the amount of success we ourselves have, because I think we're constantly looking up at somebody else. So when somebody asks me, how did you get your success in Hollywood? I always laugh because I'm like, success? You obviously didn't. You only got the editor's edition, right? Because my life out in LA, although it looked pretty because I was on MTV or doing music videos with Rihanna or a Pepsi commercial with Justin Timberlake or whatever the deal was, everybody thought that things were rosy and red. It was from a place of all that glitters isn't gold, because it was actually during that time that I started experiencing depression for the first time, which is crazy because you would believe that I was actually achieving what I set out to do. I wanted to do so badly is to be, Dancing with the Stars and doing all these big Hollywood things. And I'll explain why in a minute. But in the midst of that was because I was experiencing depression. And what I believe, when people ask me all the time, Jesse, what's the number one thing that you feel has kind of been your superpower to get you where you are right now in life and in business? And it's persistence, because I'll tell you right now, is I have failed so many times, I can't even tell you. I've been knocked down. I've been flat on my back to the point where I didn't know if I was going to be able to get back up. But there was always that drive that got me to get back up. Now, my drive started from an unhealthy place. And my drive started from a place of, there was two things that I wanted in life. And the first one was that I wanted to do something significant. I wanted to do something to so big that it was going to require people to pay attention to me, because the other thing that I wanted more than anything was to be loved. And I believed that you got love by the significance of your life. You got love based on, because I was bullied in school. I was a band geek. I was rejected. So I always looked at these, the star football players and the star basketball players and the popular kids. They had the fancy cars, or the parents had nice jobs. I looked at them as they were significant. So if I wanted to get the attention that they were getting, I needed to do and be something significant in order to get it. And here's the thing, whenever you are trying to buy love or trying to get your love through significance, it's never a healthy place, because what we don't realize is that we're significant at birth. We were significant from the second that we came out of our mother's womb, because we were created and we are unique and we're special just as human beings. So because of all that, I didn't realize the value that I already had. And so I was constantly trying to earn it. And no matter how many big jobs you get, no matter what significance you do in life, you're going to realize that there are a lot of people that don't love you the way that you expected them to. And so you're in this vicious cycle of constantly trying to be somebody in order to be loved. It wasn't until I came to that place that I realized that, oh, wait, I don't need to do all these things to earn people's love. They're going to love me for who I am. And when I can actually rest on that and believe in that, that's when I started to really pull out of that depression, and when things started to kind of turn around for me.
So, I mean, do you think there is a healthy versus unhealthy? Because to me, we always have to be driven by something. We're always driven by one thing or another. We don't do things just because we want to or because we want to go. We don't want to go to the gym because we just want to go to the gym. I mean, there's always going to be a motivation. Do you find getting a healthy, moving that into more of a healthy motivation? Because again, to me, we have to have drive, and part of that's, from passion and things that we do. But, what drives you now? If you realize this now, and what's kind of driving you now?
Yeah, 100%. We are motivated one way or another. One of the people that I've studied a lot over my personal growth and development journey, besides John Maxwell, has been Tony Robbins, and he talks about the 6 human needs and how we're all motivated in one way, shape, or form. So yes, 100%, you have to be motivated, and because that is a part of life, I believe there is a healthy and an unhealthy way to get motivated, right? See, my motivation at the beginning was for myself to earn something that I believe we're not set up to earn. And when, Tony will call it horse trading. I'll love you if you do this, or I'm going to give you this so you love me in return. It's coming from an unhealthy place. It's a bad motivation. And so many people find themselves empty when they try to gift from that space, right? My motivation now is, after I came back from LA, I almost committed suicide, almost jumped off a bridge. And that changed my life forever, because I started to then have sympathy for people that really battled that. I started to have sympathy for people that felt insignificant to the point where they felt like they needed to end their life. And I wanted so badly for my voice to be able to be somebody that could encourage them, that they themselves were significant. Just because you're not on stage singing, or because you don't have 2 million followers on Instagram, does not weight your significance or the value that you bring as a human being. And I wanted so many people to hear that message. And so that's what my motivation is now, even with my show, is I know what it's like being a dancer. I know what it's like being a performer, doing so many things on stage for an unhealthy reason. Yes, we love the accolades. We love the crowd response. We love it when people love us for our art and our skill set. But when it's always to get their love instead of you giving your love through your performance skills, you're going to find yourself getting in trouble. And so, my motivation every time that I get on and do an episode, anytime I get on a podcast, anytime I get up on stage, is I spend less time talking about tactics and strategies and more speaking to the individual and telling them, hey, listen, I don't care where you're at in your business. I don't care if you're an 8-figure business owner or if you're just starting out in your journey. I don't care if you've ever had a record deal or put a song on Spotify. I don't care if you've ever danced in a music video or whatever your deal is. Just by you being here on this planet, you're valuable. And that's the number one message that I want people to hear through anything that I ever do.
Yeah, it really goes back to you are enough. And it's that simple. You are enough. Now, do you think, so when you came back from LA and you thought about committing suicide, do you think that was going from a high to a low? In other words, you were at this huge high in LA and doing these things. Was it, do you think it was just going back down to a low, not having that stuff to help drive? Or what do you, I'm just trying to get into that mindset because I've seen the same thing. And I think that's where, part of where we can, help audiences and help people is talk about, what was going through, what were the things that kind of kicked off even thinking about that really triggered that thought. What are some things that if you look back and said, okay, at that time, had I done this, or if I had so-and-so to talk to, that would have really changed that point of my life and really what was going on then?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. One of the things, there was a bunch of things that happened, and I think a lot of your listeners are going to be able to relate to this story because I think we all have times in our life where we feel like the cards are stacked against us, where we feel like everything is going wrong, and we're so stuck in the moment that we cannot see it getting any better. And I think we're almost afraid of it getting worse. And for me, that was what it was, because see, when I came home from LA, I didn't originally come home to stay home. I came home, yes, a little bit with my tail between my legs, but it was my parents are missionaries, and they were getting ready to move to Malawi, Africa, and do some work over there, and they had asked me to take care of their estate. Well, I was going to come home for 3 months. I called my agency and said, listen, I'm going to come home for 3 months and just help my parents, and I'll be back. So I went back home. I was driving a 1999 Cadillac Eldorado, 2-door, no air conditioning, black on black. Don't ever do that when you're driving through the desert, by the way. Terrible idea. But I drove home, and, I started to have some car problems on my way home, and I wasn't thinking too much of it until I pulled into my parents' driveway. And at that time, I was going to be staying with them. So I pull into their driveway and I put my car in park. Now, I am definitely not a car savvy guy. I can barely change my oil. Okay. So let's just put the stipulation there. But I know enough to know that your transmission can malfunction. Okay. And I've heard it can just completely seize on you. I have yet to talk to a mechanic that said, oh, I've heard of that happening before. But when I put my car in park, my transmission literally fell out of my car. It was though that was the moment that the downhill, roller coaster started, because I didn't have much money at the time, so I didn't have money to get back. And then I felt stuck. And I don't know about you, but if you ever feel stuck, it's a terrible feeling. I hate feeling controlled. I hate feeling stuck. I hate feeling like I can't get out. And that was really bad. And then on top of that, I started to get into some really big disagreements with some people that I was at home with. And I started to quickly realize, listen, just because you did music videos and just because you danced next to these big name stars doesn't change a darn thing. People don't care. They care 1 minute, and the next minute they don't. You're cool for 1 second, and then you're forgotten the next. And when I started to realize, holy crap, I thought the only way to become loved was to do something significant, and I thought I did some significant things, and now it doesn't matter. And I felt like not only can I not be significant because I'm stuck, but now I can't get loved because I can't get significant. And there's people that are telling me that I'm worthless, that I'm a failure. So when you understand, the thing that I've learned through this is that when you understand what motivates you, and we have these, these 6 human needs that Tony talks about, that I've really... I've built a lot of my programs around. I've built a lot of my coaching programs around because I just love people. And whether you're a business owner, you're a performer, you're a mother, we're all motivated by the same things. We just have to understand what motivates us. But when you understand what motivates you, and you understand what motivates you, and you understand how you fill those motivational needs. We all have good things that we do it with, and we all have bad things that we do it with. And what I learned through my, awakening moment just after I almost committed suicide was that if I knew what I wasn't getting, I could figure out ways to fill that need just in a different way. And but that's really what brought me to that point. Was I knew my top needs were significance and connection. And when I felt like that was being taken from me, now all of a sudden I didn't want to exist anymore.
Goes for a lot of people. I think a lot of people, if you go through the six needs, and anybody listening, I highly recommend you go and take Tony Robbins' 6 needs assessment. It's a very great tool to start understanding yourself and what motivates you. Now, one of the things that you said at the last conference that I was at, one of the quotes that you had was, "Being good without passion is worthless." What did you mean? To me, that's out of all the stuff that you said, that one thing really struck me. That's one of the things that struck me was being good without passion is worthless, and it's absolutely true. Because if you don't have passion for something, you could be the best dancer, you could be the best businessman, you can be the best in sports. But if you don't have passion, you're not going to go anywhere. And what really, so right now I understand what a lot of your passion is with the World Dance Challenge. Why did you start the World Dance Challenge, and what drove you to start that? And that is a fantastic thing. I'd like to know, discuss a little bit about the World Dance Challenge as well. Because that is to me, that when I look at that and I watch you do that, to me, that is a passion project for you. You can tell when you are doing that you are absolutely passionate about what you're doing, about helping people. And I don't know about you, but for me, having a outlet to be creative, having an outlet to be passionate about something, absolutely drives, to me, us as human beings. If we cannot be passionate about something, it's not just worthless, it's why live? If we are not hell-bent in passion on doing something. So I absolutely love the World Dance Challenge. How did you start? Why did you start that? I love the creativity of that, by the way, of taking these challenges and taking them online and doing that. That is a wonderful thing. What drove you to do that?
This is a great question, because we're talking about, first of all, we were talking about my journey in 2005 and 2006. Now you're fast forwarding to 2020 when this all started, right? Almost 14 years later. And I know sometimes I'm a slow learner. I got a thick skull, so it takes me a lot of times to smash my head on a wall before I realize it hurts. And when you talk about the fact of being passion without being good without having passion is worthless. What I meant by that is you can be really good at something and have no passion behind it, and eventually you're going to burn out on it, because I had that happen to me. And my corporate background is sales and leading sales teams, scaling businesses through sales. It's one of the things that I'm really good at doing. But when you're not passionate about who you're doing it for, or you're not passionate about the industry, you're not passionate about the product. I made a ton of money, but I was finding myself completely burned out. And here's the thing, is that this all stems back from going back to the fact that you're valuable for who you are. Okay. Those of you that are either listening to this on audio or you're watching the video, you're going to see I'm all tatted up, right? Completely tatted up. And I dress like I'm 18. I wear ripped jeans. I wear the fancy t-shirts, the hat worn backwards. I'm a performer through and through, a dancer. I love all of the fashion that goes into that, right? But when I was starting to scale businesses and starting to go back into the corporate realm, I was starting to serve the audience that was there. And in that audience that was there, a lot of that was suit and tie stuff. It was trying to be a different version of myself, because I felt like in order for me to earn the money, in order for me to succeed, I needed to be who they wanted me to be. Now, again, there is nothing wrong with understanding your audience. There is nothing wrong when it comes to, you fitting the part. There's times that you need to do that. But what I have learned for myself is that, especially when it comes to building a business, build a business around people you enjoy being around and enjoy serving. Now, some people, they want to serve a group of people that have a ton of money. They want to serve a group of people that walk a certain way. They want to serve a group of people that live in a certain area. I think where the passion for Worldwide Dance Challenge came for me the most was, first of all, me giving permission to be myself again. Because in the corporate world, I got so lost into being who I was. I was walking around in tailored, very expensive tailored suits that no matter how many times you tailored it, it never fit me. And the reason for that was because I just wasn't made to wear a suit. If you ever listen to Steve Sims, who's known as the modern day Wizard of Oz speak, he'll talk about how he tried wearing a suit. When you see him, this guy gets paid like big bucks to do everything. So, he tried wearing a suit. If you see this guy speak, I mean, he gets paid big bucks to keynote. He gets asked to do things that most people that look at it as impossible to do. But there was a time he tried to wear a suit, and it didn't work for him. He now wears a black t-shirt and black jeans. And it doesn't matter if he's at a corporate event with a bunch of real estate investors. That's how he's going to dress. Why? Because he knows who he is. And you might be saying, well, Jesse, does it really about how you dress? No, it's about knowing who you are. And first giving yourself permission to accept that, because who you are was made for a purpose. And I say this, I've been saying this the last year, we weren't made to impact everybody. We just weren't. But we were all made to impact somebody.
Yep.
Our job is to find that somebody and double down. But see, who you are as a person was given to you for a reason, so that you can impact that somebody. Because who you are, from the way that you dress, the way that you talk, the way that you walk, your fashion preferences, your music preferences, even your hobby preferences, are made to impact that one or group of people. And I had to first give myself permission to do that. And trust me, I had a ton of reasons why I couldn't. I hadn't been in the dance industry forever, right? I wasn't, I didn't have the credibility anymore. I had all the dancers are broke, blah, 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 blah. I had all these reasons why I couldn't serve this group of people. But when I finally locked myself in a room for 8 hours to get down to the root of who do I really want to serve? Who do I really want to do this with? And I was willing to do that and gave myself permission of like, okay, again, regardless of all the what ifs, this is who I really want to serve. And when I gave myself permission, I think the beautiful thing about giving yourself permission to serve the audience you were made to serve, you give yourself permission to be the person you were created to be. Because of that, and I was able to connect with the people that I wanted to connect with, I felt for the first time in a really long time, this is where I'm supposed to be. And the passion just exploded out of those two things coming together.
And it took me a long time to do this, but I think one of the great things is talking about our past, talking about the hard shit that we went through, talking about the stuff that you went through and, almost committing suicide. To me, I was very ashamed of my past, so I never, ever talked about it. I mean, no one knew anything about my past. And I started to realize, and I started to learn, like what you were saying, is if I want to impact the people that I can impact, I've got to talk about, I've got to show that there was a way out. I've got to not only deal with, but I've got to be able to open up and talk about the stuff that I've done, the stuff that I've gone through, because those are the people that I can influence. Those are the people that I can help. And the stuff that you've gone through, the stuff that you've done, those are the people that can learn the most from you and the ones that you can impact their lives. And to me, I could not find those people. You say you got to find the one person or the group of people that you can affect. Until I was able to talk about my past and the stuff that I'd gone through, I couldn't find my people. I couldn't find the tribe of people that I could help because I was too ashamed of actually even talking about it in public. I mean, it was like, I used to say that, my past was, Dropout Club was like Fight Club. And, the first thing you do is you never talk about dropping out of school. It's like Fight Club. You don't talk about it. And until I learned that those things, the things that we're doing, we're talking about our past, we're talking about how we got out of it, how we, persisted, how we moved forward, that's how we help other people that are 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps behind us. And absolutely love that. And so do you think that passion drives persistence? Because to me, you're going to fail if you're not persistent. I don't care what you do, whether it's dance or if you don't have persistence, you're going to fail at it. And do you think passion is one of those drivers that keeps you going when you don't want to get back up, when you've been kicked down one more time, when you don't think that there's, light at the end of the tunnel, going? And to me, passion helps drive me to continue to say, okay, I'm going to get up one more damn time. I'm going to keep doing this again and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you definitely need passion in some form, right? And I mean, there's times where, I have felt lost. I have felt like I didn't really know where to go or what to do. And the passion to succeed has definitely always been something that has been really a driving force to me, even at the lowest of lows. But I definitely know that when you do find passion, that you're going to definitely have more persistence, because I equate the amount of persistence that you have as equivalent to the passion that you find in the project that you're working on, whether it's lifting, weight lifting, or, losing weight or getting into shape, whether you want to be a performer on stage or you wanting to build a business. I definitely believe that passion has a lot to do with driving your persistence. And it's not something that this is why so many people you'll hear people talk about start with your why. And I definitely believe that starting with your why is important when it comes to, finding your passion. But I think that there's something that, a friend of mine, Cody Jefferson, made a post that I saw on Twitter, and then he posted it on his Facebook and his Instagram. And I was like, that is so brilliant. And it says, start with your why. And he had the why crossed out and he put in who. And I really think that there's a lot to be said about the who. Now, the who could just be you. The who could be you. The who could be the who could be one person. But there is a who that is going to drive your why. Because when you really realize who it is, that you wanna to impact, and whether that's your family, I really want to, you hear a lot of people say, well, I want to be able to give my kids a better life. Okay, so your who first starts with your kids, and then your who is who you're serving, right? And that could be your audience. But I think that the who is always comes back to finding value in yourself, and so it's a healthy passion, because you can get passionate to drive for success and still be bitter. If you don't really understand the who part, it could be a problem.
And going back to kind of the World Dance Challenge, so you just wrapped up your year on that. How do you think that helped other people? That to me, that's kind of your who is, you're helping these people. What types of things how did you affect people's lives by doing the World Dance Challenge? Because so I'm looking at it from the outside. Of course, I can't dance I can't, trust me, you don't want to see me. You don't want to see me try to dance. I not there. How do you think, what impact do you see that made on all these people? I've watched, many of the different dances. What kind of impact do you think you made doing that?
Well, the cool thing is because the way that we set up the challenge, I was very intentional with making sure that we were interacting with all of the, the dancers that were coming in. And I think, when we first started the challenge, I got to be honest with you, we got caught up with, we started it out of the pandemic. And so at the time that we started it, all shows were shut down. World of Dance was shut down. America's Got Talent was shut down. I mean, you couldn't record. You couldn't do anything. Dancers couldn't. All tours got canceled. Dancers couldn't do anything. So we were really kind of the new guys to the forefront, and doing it the way that we were doing it. There was a lot of online competitions that were doing things, whether it was hosting it on Instagram or whatever. But what we were doing with how we were doing it with live judges and dancers dancing live from their homes and all this kind of stuff, we were kind of a really unique blend. And so a lot of people said, this is going to go viral, but you only have a certain window. And right. I had people tell me, you need to get famous people to jump on board with this right away. It's going to require you to give away so much equity into the project, but you need that specific person. And so none of those things panned out. And again, if we weren't really dialed in on who we were serving, I think we could have interrupted the flow, and we could have really robbed ourselves and the people that we did impact of the opportunity of us to be able to do that. So I say all that because we had a lot of ups and downs. We had a lot of people that, at first the show caught fire. We had a lot of people watching. And then, we had some ups and downs with some things, and the growth didn't happen at the rate that we expected, right? We kind of fizzled out. And now we've had some more growth since then, but what I learned was something that I learned in sales actually way back when, was love the one you're with. And when you realize that you're there for impact and you're there to make a difference, you need to be okay with making a difference in the one before you can make a difference in the many. And, so I started to really get dialed in and starting to have calls with these dancers almost every day, just to make sure that we're serving them the way that we can, understand what their needs are, how do we serve them the best. It really helped us to get good on our platform. It helped us to really get dialed in on how we could really put together something that the dancers wanted to be involved with, because we identified that we weren't looking for viewers, we were looking for dancers. And if we could serve the dancers, the viewers are eventually going to come, whether they're the dancers that are going to watch it or it's going to be the audience that loves dance. But I wasn't there to serve an audience of people that would want to watch dance. I wanted to really genuinely serve the dancer. Because one of the things that we kept hearing over and over and over again is these shows are just utilizing us to make money. They don't really care about us. We're another number.
Right.
And, we had our finals. And through the finals, after the finals, we've had some get-togethers with dancers. And I've had dancers tell me, Jesse, you gave me belief in myself that I'm going to double down on, and I would have never been able to do this without your show. The winner that won, if you get a chance, you can check out the interview that we did with the winner, who was this pretty much an unknown b-boy from the island of Guam. In his audition video, it was super cool because he's auditioning and he's outside and he's got this like piece of plywood, smooth plywood that he uses to do head spins on and to practice his stuff on. He's got chickens running around him all the time because they don't have very much money. And this kid won $5,000, and to see how much this competition kept him mentally sane through the pandemic. We had people that came to us and said, we had people that came to us and said, just watching this show gave me inspiration to see that there can be light at the end of the tunnel. One of the things that we do with these dancers is we give them business coaching advice on how to build a platform around their passion for dance that they can monetize right now, even in a pandemic. A lot of these kids don't have this entrepreneurship skill set. They don't understand how to build a platform. And because I spent time and gave them ideas on how to build platforms, there's dancers right now that are teaching online that they would have never thought of teaching online had I not been able to just show them how to do it. And so we've literally, a b-boy from Jamaica, I gave him an idea on how to do it. So it was just really cool, to see. We had a guy, one of my favorite stories from the show was one of our top 6, Max, 40 years old, from Argentina. And this guy, he said the number one reason why he wanted to do our show is to prove to his daughters that dreams don't know an age. And that just struck my heart so much. But because him being on the show, he was like, Jesse, you gave me more belief in myself for where I'm at in my life right now. Because I truly believe that dreams don't know an age. And this guy's teaching. He's got a studio in Argentina. He's teaching people, but now he's been able to take that belief and instill that in his students. And the thing of it is that we won't know the impact of the show because you don't know the trickle-down effect. You don't know what's going to happen. And because it's online, we don't know what it's going to do for people that watch later on. So that has been my cup fill, is to know that we're literally instilling energy and passion and belief into these dancers, to believe that because our world has changed doesn't mean their life is over. We just have to start looking at things differently.
And to me, that is absolutely amazing impact that you've had. And I can tell you without a doubt that is going to, not only did it impact a ton of people, but I think it's going to impact more and more people as they watch it and they see. It gives people hope. It gives people the outlet. Now, are you looking at doing a season 2 of the World Dance Challenge?
Oh yeah, we're here to stay. That's, the next thing that we're doing now is to gain sponsorships and to get people that want to get involved, and help us scale it to a bigger level, because I want to make a big impact. I want to make this something that, is a major platform for dancers to be able to showcase their talent, build community, and and compete. They love to compete. And now with, the announcement of World of Dance being canceled, there's, as a TV show, there's a room in the marketplace for us to be able to do stuff even on a bigger scale. And that's what we're looking to do. I'm not looking to go away by any stretch. I want this to be a platform that is a major platform for the dance community to be able to utilize, grow from, experience, and hopefully they can use this to be an inspiration platform for them to help them go and build a career that they really want to build.
Well, I'll tell you what, I could submit a video for the next one, just for your comedy section, not for the actual. But those shows always have the comedy ones, of the singers that absolutely can't sing, but they make it because it's good TV. I could be that. Right, I could be that token comedic relief for the show. I absolutely want to thank you for taking the time to be on, and I'm telling you, you have already made a huge impact on this world, on people. And I truly appreciate all the stuff that you're doing. What I absolutely love seeing is people, when they get creative to help people. So doing like this World Dance Challenge, you've taken, the kind of the online stuff, you've taken things that have been there, but you put them together through creativity to do something that no one's really doing. And it's absolutely impacting and helping people in this world get through crap. I mean, to me, that was a perfect time to have that during this pandemic, is being able to still do things with what we were going through and, still going through, but the creativity is amazing. And so again, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for giving back to the world and talking about the stuff that you've gone through. You're absolutely impacting and helping other human beings. So thank you so much for that.
Well, it's definitely an honor for me to be able to sit down and chat about it. I'm a full believer in transparency and us just being willing to share our experiences so other people don't feel like they're alone, and that they can see that if people that have experienced the things that they've experienced have been able to make it to the other side and succeed, then they can too. And that's really what I want my life story to be utilized for. So I appreciate you giving me the platform to do it.
Oh, well, thank you. And all the people listening, in the show notes are going to be links to go to all of Jesse's stuff, his World Dance Challenge, his podcast, the Creative District podcast. And that's another, so, we kind of running out of time, but that is another platform that you are absolutely helping people with. That's another great podcast. If you're listening to this podcast, jump over to that podcast as well. We're going to have a link in the show notes for that. And keep up the creative, keep up, the passion, keep up doing what you're doing. And I just can't see you in a suit and tie. So don't go back to that. I can't see that.
Only for very rare occasions, very, very rare occasions.